it might help if I was on the right class. So let's make sure. Don't download those files from my other class. I'd be surprised you have access to them. But so we have then a couple files to download today. So trucklist.xlsx and parser.cls. Go ahead and download those. And we'll spend a few minutes talking about kind of the legal issues of what the tools that I've given you. So last time we were together on Monday and today, before Monday, everything we did in class, I was not worried that you would take the stuff I taught you and go out and break the law. But with the stuff we've learned this week, I am worried about that. And it's a set of legal issues that I would not expect you to be even the least bit familiar with. So let me give you a little background so you can kind of get the sense for where we are. How old were you in like 1996, 95, 96? You're pretty young when this is happening. You probably, so as long as you can remember, the internet has been part of your life, hasn't it? You can't remember a time when there was no internet. I remember that time. And it's about this time, mid to late 90s, that we finally kind of cross the threshold where we say the internet, has come into kind of to consumer use. For decades before that, it's used broadly at universities and at defense contractors and the military. But it's really late 90s that we start getting, the kind of commerce that's touching ordinary, everyday people. And so we start off with kind of business-to-consumer kinds of selling, but then we get consumer-to-consumer selling. So when we say consumer-to-consumer, what are we talking about? Like C2C e-commerce is what they used to talk about. Yeah, eBay. It's talking about saying, I got something I want to sell. There's a market out there. Somebody else there, if I can find it, they probably want to buy it. And so this is really just starting to become serious in the mid to late 90s. Today, when we think of online auction, it's synonymous with eBay. That wasn't the case in 1995. There are a couple of different auction houses that are, I think eBay is the early leader, but it's not clear that they're going to emerge as the winner, which they certainly have today. And so eBay's eBaying along, and another company pops up called Bidder's Edge. You heard of Bidder's Edge? I haven't heard of it. You'll see why you haven't heard of it shortly. So Bidder's Edge idea was this. Listen, eBay is kind of a clunky website. It's kind of hard to find the things that you're after on eBay. And so I'll tell you what, you come to Bidder's Edge, and we can help you find what you're looking for at eBay. We're going to show you, they used to say, we can give you a better view of eBay than eBay. And by the way, when you come here and you're looking for, that particular baseball card or whatever, we're not just going to show you every auction that's selling on eBay. We'll show you where it's being sold on eBay and where it's being sold on Bid for Less or whatever the other auction sites were at the time. I don't even remember. So, this is their plan. What do you think? Good idea? That's a pretty good idea. If I was the person, who thought of Bidder's Edge, I'd be pretty proud of myself. This is going to be great business. Now, tell me what eBay thinks about it. Now, on one hand, I see a couple of heads shaking. They're going, we don't like this. But on one hand, you know what? This might not be too bad. A big part of our expense is we got to be able to handle all the incoming requests. We got to be able to have fast response. So when people come to our website, they can find what they need. We have another site who at no charge to us is helping people find things that we have for sale. What does Bidder's Edge do? Do they then buy it from eBay and then sell it to the other people? No, what do? They just tell you where to go buy it on eBay. Here's where you can go find it. Seems like a pretty good deal for eBay. They've got a lot of other people now who are going to Bidder's Edge. They're helping handle all the load. Not so bad. So those of you who are shaking your heads that think eBay thinks this is a bad idea, why do they think it's a bad idea? They do think it's a bad idea, by the way. Why?
You can control the quality of product.
Okay, so one might be an issue of quality. It could be a little bit of a lag between when things are listed and so forth. And so that's probably a minor concern. It's not the big one. Go ahead.
You're creating competition between and validating other auction sites.
That's the big one. So what eBay wants to do is they want to emerge as the winner in online market. They want eBay to be synonymous with online auction. And if enough people think Bidder's Edge is really better, they can see it better there, then they're going to be opening up that other channel. And as soon as, how many of you have sold kind of actively on eBay? Any of you? So just want to shoot. So how does eBay make their money? You know probably better anyway. How do they make their money?
Don't they fee?
Yeah, it's listing fees and well, seller's fees. I don't know if they pay a list or if they take a piece when the transaction happens or what. So and eBay has been in trouble a couple of times, for kind of raising their listing fees and kind of abusively, and they can do that now because why? They're it. They've won, and if you say, I'm going to go somewhere else to sell my thing, no one's going to see it, and everyone knows that's the kind of, all right, I'm going to pay the 20% listing fee or whatever it is now. And so they think we really have to stop this. So what do you think they did? What was the first step that eBay did to try to stop Bidder's Edge? Technological ways to do it. How can we use technology to cut these guys out? And what they said is, look, we get hundreds of thousands of requests from this set of 4 IP addresses. That's no human. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to quit responding to Bidder's Edge. We're going to quit responding to that. Just boom. We're not going to respond to those IP addresses anymore. What does Bidder's Edge do? Oh yeah, we'll change our IP address, and then we'll make it so we can change our IP address pretty quickly, so they can't really see what we're doing. And they kind of go back and forth with a couple of technological things, and then they took them to court. 9th District Court in California, we're suing you. Cut it out, and we're suing you on 3 legal principles. Number 1, copyright infringement. You are taking our stuff and you are republishing it somewhere without our permission. Number 2, you are in breach of contract. See that terms of service agreement right down there that says if you use this site, you are in breach of contract. And not only that, you're trespassing on our servers. These 3 legal arguments. So it goes to the 9th Circuit or district. I don't know. Right? So either the 9th Circuit or the 9th District. I think there's both of those. I'm not sure the difference. But Judge White, gets assigned the case, and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, interesting. Copyright infringement." He has to think about this for like 10 minutes. He goes, "No, there's no copyright. There's no copyright issue here. Copyright, it's really clear. You can copyright something that's created. You cannot copyright a fact. Facts don't belong to anybody. Facts belong to the world." In fact, it actually goes back to 1991. There's a U.S. Supreme Court case dealing with telephone book republishment. It used to be telephone book only came from Bell, whoever was the people who owned the telephone company. And someone else said, we're going to make a telephone book. We're going to take all those telephone numbers out of the telephone book, and we're going to print them ourselves with our own advertisements. Big copyright infringement case. U.S. Supreme Court says, somebody's telephone number is a fact. You can't copyright a fact. Facts belong to the world. They don't belong to you. They belong to the world. And so he says it clearly. If they were just taking pictures of the eBay site and then showing them somewhere else, that might be copyright infringement. But the fact that some item is being offered for sale on eBay for this price, that's a fact. And as long as I don't take the creative part of it, the color and the layout and everything, but that's what Bidder's Edge was doing, different layout, different organization. There's no copyright here. He says, we're not even going to think about copyright. There's no copyright infringement. There's no copyright infringement. Second one, breach of contract. He had to think about this for about 5 minutes. And he goes, there's absolutely no breach of contract. Is he still required to take business law? Yeah, good. Okay, so what are the 2 main things you have to have a valid contract? Consideration and agreement. Yeah, so you have to have mutual assent and you have to have consideration. Neither of which are clearly clearly present in the case of the terms of service agreement. I go to that website. I use the site. What consideration has there been? I can't think of it. Agreement has to be, I have to know there was a contract. I have to have read the contract, and I have to say, yeah, I agree to that contract. They have a little link at the bottom that says terms of service agreement here. Have you even read those? Some of you have read those. Yeah. If you haven't read them, you certainly can never be bound by them because there can be no mutual assent. If you have read them, that's a different question. But anyway, Judge White says there's absolutely there's no breach of contract issue here. Now, if the case had been brought in Virginia or Washington State, then probably there would have been a breach of contract case. This is the state-by-state law about what it takes to be able to have a valid contract. And so, but in California, there's not a question of there's no question of breach of contract. The third one, you're trespassing on our server. White scratched his whiskers over this one for quite a while. You're familiar with the idea of trespass, but you're used to thinking of it in terms of real property. There's somebody a lot and a fence and a sign that says no trespassing. And first of all, are you allowed to do that? Can you tell someone you're not allowed to come on my property? Yeah, absolutely. But this is not trespass to real property, it's trespass to chattel. And trespass to chattel is a long, really old legal doctrine. I mean, it goes back into the 1600s for the earliest legal precedents on it. What are chattels?
Personal property.
Yeah, personal property. It's ownable, movable property. If you can move it and you can own it, it's a chattel. This computer is a chattel, the bottle's a chattel, the mouse is a chattel, those earphones are chattel, cattle are chattels. And so you can trespass on a chattel. Here's what it takes to trespass on a chattel. It requires two things. Number one, there has to be contact. So no matter how long I look at this computer, how even longingly I look at it, or look at it thinking, I look like I'm up to no good looking at it, it can't be trespassed. I have to contact. And so it's not until I have contact with a chattel that I can trespass it. That's the first one. The second one is that the owner of the chattel has to be dispossessed of the chattel because of the contact. Am I contacting this chattel? Yeah. Is the owner dispossessed of it because of the contact? What if he tells me, put that to my computer?
Touch my computer.
What if he says that? Is it trespass to chattel? I said it may be something else, but it's not trespass to chattel. Because if he's not dispossessed because of the contact, it's not trespass to chattel. Now, how about this? We'll pick up the mouse. Nice mouse. A Bluetooth mouse. Microsoft Bluetooth mouse. Trespass? Yes. He's dispossessed of this mouse because of the contact. If he wants to reach over and use this mouse to move the mouse corner on the screen, he can't do it right now. It's trespass. Sorry about trespassing.
That's okay.
What if, tell me your name again?
Ryan.
What if Ryan had said to me, Professor Allen, anytime you want to contact my channel, I'm okay with it. I'm inviting you to have contact with my channel. And then I did that. Would it be trespass? No. I mean, if the contact had been invited, then it can't be trespass to chattel. Okay. So this is kind of the background on the doctrine of trespass to chattel. So why did my screen look like this? It's not supposed to be like this. Got bored. So Judge White is looking at this argument, trespass to chattel. And he says, number one, so what's the first thing there has to be? There has to be contact. Now, chattel, question, are servers that are sitting somewhere in a server farm in California running eBay. These are our chattels. First of all, are servers chattels? Yeah, you can own and move a server, that's a chattel. Did Bidder's Edge ever walk into the server room and touch the chattel? That never happened. There's no question about that. There's a question here or a comment?
Yeah, was it eBay's own servers, or were they being hosted on the farm?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it matters. For here, I don't think it matters. So it wouldn't surprise me in the 1990s that eBay owned the hardware. It wouldn't surprise me if they own the hardware today. So Judge White said, well, what happens when I make a request from this computer to that computer before the days of wireless? Things aren't really wireless yet. They're all wired. The argument doesn't change in the world of wireless. I push some button on my computer, and it sets up a chain reaction that bounces electrons down a wire. And ultimately, that's going to cause a chain reaction that says an electron is going to bounce into the network card on the server. Maybe it's a photon, maybe it's fiber optic, a photon, but there's something. Something has to happen. I mean, clearly, if I didn't actually physically touch that computer, but if I threw a tomato at it, that could be trespass to chattel. So this idea that I could be bouncing something else off against it, he goes, it could be trespass. That could be trespass. I mean, that could be contact. And then he said, well, now the owner has to be dispossessed of the chattel because of the contact. What happens when that request comes into the server? Well, that request gets served. A couple things happen. Number one, we're going to log that request, and so it's going to take up disk space, and it's going to take processing cycles to be able to do that. And now that disk space and those processing cycles that I would otherwise like to use for something else, I can't use them for something else because they've been taken by that contact. And so he said, I'm not sure. He said, number one, he said, I'm not sure there's contact, but there might be. Number two, I'm not sure it's dispossession, but there might be. He said, these are legal questions. These are ones I'm not willing to just make a summary ruling on. These are questions we've got to answer. So, okay, we asked for three things. I'm throwing away two, but one we're going to have to examine. And the result is we issue an injunction against Bidder's Edge saying, cut it out until we answer these very important legal questions. Well, so what does Bidder's Edge do? They got to quit. What do they do? They're done, right? All eBay has to do is stretch this out for 3 or 4 years. bidder's edge dries up and blows away. That's not what happened. What happened was they settled out of court with bidder's edge. The terms of the settlement are sealed. We don't know what the terms are, but clearly eBay was the victor in this case. Now, let me point out, those legal questions, Judge White did not answer those legal questions. He said, these are questions. But that preliminary injunction would become the legal precedent that is then cited on case after case where trespass to chattel was upheld and said, all right, yeah, there really was trespass to chattel here, and so you got to cut it out. Now, so that's the background. That's the background here. Now, another question here, and that is, if I've got a server and I plug it in to a public network, am I not inviting the contact? I mean, isn't that what I'm doing? Why am I plugging to the network if I don't want anyone to touch my chattels? You wouldn't do it. And so, well, there's implied consent because of the fact you connected to the internet. And so you have to somehow, if you want to prevent someone from using your server on the internet, you've got to somehow revoke that implied consent. So let's talk about how that implied consent might be revoked. Number one, let's look here at this web page. Let's go to walmart.com. You don't have to go there, you can just watch it here. We're here at walmart.com. Walmart.com, very nice. Apparently you can get Frito-Lays for a good price. I'm going to come down here to the bottom, and somewhere there's going to be terms of service. I'm not even sure where it is. Anyone see it? Terms of use. I'll follow the link for terms of use. And here's terms of use. I printed out one time, 12-point font. It's 12 pages. So it's a legal document. These are the terms you agree to be bound by if you use Walmart.com. And if we look here, use any, so this is going to be things that are restricted. In connection, in connection with Walmart sites, you will not use any robot, spider, site search retrieval application or other manual or automatic device to retrieve, index, scrape, data mine, or otherwise gather any materials or reproduce or circumvent the navigational structure. Anyway, so they explicitly say, hey, no automatic interaction with our site. They're revoking that implied consent. And the funny thing is, somewhere else on here it says, these terms might change any time, so you should read them every time you come to the site. Last updated, and look, last updated, not all that long ago. Hey, honey, how much does toilet paper cost at Walmart? Oh, I don't know. Hold on a second. I got to read the terms of service. Okay. So, in fact, almost every time you look at a terms of service document, there's some clause like that that says no automatic interaction with our site. Now, let me show you somewhere else here at Walmart.com. Go back to Walmart.com. That was meant. I was about to say that was meant for a human to read, but it was meant for a lawyer to read. And so, how can we expect a computer to figure that out? And the answer is we can't. And so, there's another place that computers look. You just go to the root of any website, put a slash on it, and say robots.txt, all lowercase. Not every website has a robots.txt, but this is a computer-readable format that says, hey, what's allowed for automatic interaction? Where are you allowed to go? And it says, hey, there's some places that might help you figure out our site. And then here's some places you're not allowed to go. User agent star, that means everybody. I don't care if you're Google or Yahoo or you're someone in an IS class at BYU trying to do this stuff. This applies to you. You're not allowed to go anywhere that starts with walmart.com/account. Don't go. Walmart.com/checkout. Don't go there. Email collect. Don't go there. API 0 whatever. Reviews, don't go there, unless it starts with reviews-product. Then that's okay to go to. So on the one hand, their terms of service says no automatic interaction. On the other hand, it says, hey, if you're going to interact automatically, here's how you should do it. Kind of interesting. So the robots.txt really takes precedence here because that's the one that your machine could read and figure out what's allowed to have. Let's look over here really quickly. So we went to finance.yahoo.com, and you remember in the beginning of the semester we were pulling some information off of this site. So we're at quote.luv. Let's just look and see if what we were doing was against the law. Were we trespassing on finance.yahoo.com's website? So we put /robots.txt. And theirs is a lot simpler here. So user agent star, that's everybody. Thank you very much for that, Alan.
You're welcome.
Sitemap. Now, what are they disallowing? /r/rapidworker 1.2.js. I don't know what that is. /blank /tdapi/remote. Where were we? /quote. Are we allowed to go to /quote? All day long. Yeah. They're specifically saying that's okay to be able to do that. So, the point that I want to bring out is that the implied consent that someone has given for you to contact their server on the internet because they put it on the internet might be revoked. And those are the two places that you should look to see has it been revoked. So we can come here to yahoo.com and we can feel comfortable that we can pull the data off all we want, and they're specifically saying that's okay to do. Now, how about Walmart? Can we do it at Walmart? No, it's not quite as clear as at Walmart. And so just these are the issues that we have to think about. Now, again, for those of you who've had business law, let's suppose, what have I committed if I trespass on someone's chattel? What's the name for that kind of wrong? A little louder? Tort. Yeah, it's a tort. It's wrong. It's wrong. What am I under tort law? What am I liable for? What does the liability extend because of my tort or my tortious behavior? What's my liability? There's a word for it. Damages, right? Yeah. So remember, the person who owns the chattel is dispossessed of the chattel because of the contact. That's the damage. I am liable for the amount of the damage. How much? I'm going to trespass on your chattel. So, in fact, go ahead and tell me. Don't touch this mouse.
Don't touch the mouse.
All right. I'm going to hold it up, and he's going to say, I really want to use that mouse right now.
I really want to right now.
Okay, I'm going to give it back to you. Okay.
Thank you.
So, clearly trespass on his chattel. He was dispossessed of it. The question is, what's the value that he was out because he couldn't use the mouse for that time?
$100 million.
You've got to get a jury to agree with it. And if you're going to go after $100 million, I don't think you're going to get it. What do you think the actual value of that was? What do you think? $1.50. I think it's pretty high. It was probably 2 cents. Well, but maybe he was really trying to hit submit on that thing that he was trying to hit submit for his grade, and now he doesn't get the grade, and because of that, he's not going to be able to graduate, because he doesn't graduate for a year, he's out the whole year of his house. So it could get big of that, but that would be the argument you have to make. And so, let's think about it. So you send 10,000 requests to Walmart.com. What's the damage? How much are they out because of those requests? Is it a lot or a little? I'll tell you this. Here's what Judge White said. Bidder's Edge is making hundreds of thousands of requests a day. And Judge White said, I'm not even sure that level rises to the level of dispossession. So, kind of has to be a level, and my guess is that if you hit Walmart hard and heavy all day, you might be out 23 cents. It's not a large amount. But the reason this doctrine is interesting is because if Walmart reaches out to you and says, Ryan, cut it out, and now you don't do it, then that could be a different situation. They can get an injunction against you. Actually, you're doing something illegal. And if they get a court order saying to cut it out, and then you keep doing it, that's when you could be in big trouble. But the initial behavior, it's a wrong, it's a tort, you're liable for damages, and that's probably not going to be very good. And so the point here is to realize that you now have the power to do something that's illegal. That might be illegal, depending on whether the implied consent's been revoked or not. And so I'm just saying be sensitive about it. Don't just go crazy. Think, I can write something, I can get 3 or 4 computers all running, I can have 4 or 5 instances of Excel all running on each of these computers, and I can have them, keep pulling this data as fast as I can, because it feels kind of anonymous, right? You're doing this in your dorm room late at night. Everyone else is asleep. I think no one knows. But when you send a request to a web server, what does that web server know? What does that web server have to know? Your IP address has got to send a request. It's got to send a response. They know your IP address, and so what can they know if they know that IP address? They can know who that IP address is assigned to. So you go on campus, they're going to find out, this has been assigned to Brigham Young University. And if they got a problem, who are they going to contact? They're going to contact you? They're going to contact Brigham Young University and say, we got a problem here. Cease and desist. They'll send a cease and desist letter. Cease and desist. And they'll give a description of what the behavior is. Can BYU tell that you were connected at the time that those requests were being made? Oh yeah, they can track you down. This happened to me once. That's why I know so much about this. Actually, I ended up writing a paper about it. It was an interesting paper. I got a telephone call from the Office of Information Technology at Tulane University. They said, Professor Allen, we got a very interesting letter today from isbn.nu, this website. Well, I'm not sure it was them or someone else, but that was one of the companies I was abusing in the early 90s, or the early 2000s. And he said, oh, what's going on? I said, we're not quite sure what's going on, but we want to give you a chance to tell us what you think is going on. So I said, oh yeah, I've been interacting with them every morning at 3 o'clock for about an hour. I've been requesting lots and lots of data from them every day for about a month now. It was part of a long-term study on what affects the price of books. Bestseller, how do they go? They go up, and they go down, what affects them? And so I ended up doing a study and looking at it and saying, you know what? I make the first request at 3 a.m., and this is how fast it responds. I run for about an hour. At the end, it responds at exactly the same number of, 37 milliseconds before the next request comes back. We're not really having a material effect on their servers. And they said, oh, okay, well, all right. We don't like any of these kinds of letters, so if anything you can do to kind of make it so they don't send them to us, that'd be great. But we're not going to tell you to stop doing your research. Later, it might have been a different site. And then another site just stopped responding to me. It's like, oh, I thought they went out of business. Oh no, they just stopped responding to Tulane University. No one on Tulane campus could get to this particular website. Then, a couple of years later, I thought, I wonder if they're back up yet. And I opened up, sure enough, they're back on. And I thought, oh, I'm going to write these guys an email. Just to say, hey, a couple of years ago, I was doing this. You guys turned me off. I just wanted to apologize. I was new at this, and there are kind of some rules I should be following. I wasn't following. It was academic research. They responded later that day. Oh, if you'd have known it was academic research, we wouldn't have turned you off. We thought you were our competitors going after our data. And all they see is someone taking our data. So anyway, that's just kind of some of the background. The point is, be respectful, don't go crazy. In academia, we have theories for everything. We got a whole theory about social interaction. It's called social exchange theory. Looking about how and why people exchange things. In social exchange theory, if you take a benefit without paying the cost, which, by the way, is exactly what you're doing when you go to financesiteguider.com automatically. Why does financesiteguider.com give this data to you for free?
Because they're ads.
Yeah. They are making you look at this. Watch live. Jamie, whoever that is. He's the editor-in-chief of something. And over here, you've got Liquid Web and some related thing. I got lots of ads over here. So the price that you pay to get that data is to wait for your page to load while you're looking at these things and looking at it and going, oh my gosh, this brilliant company in Provo, $200 billion car insurance industry. Why? Come on, I'm not making $200 million. And so when you interact with this automatically, what happens to those ads? Do they ever get shown? Do you ever look at them? No. You're taking the benefit without paying the cost. What's that called? Any guesses? In social exchange, they have a word for it. A word. In social exchange theory, what is it? That always comes up as an answer. That's not what it is. It's a pretty good description. It doesn't have to be the word. The word is cheating. You take the benefit without paying the price, you are cheating. Now, in this case, Yahoo has specifically said, hey, that's okay. But just realize you should be able. Okay, so now let's learn how to do this even more efficiently. So let's go ahead and jump in. So we've downloaded trucklist.xlsx. And we're going to get to parser.cls here as well. So I thought I had Excel open. Downloads. Come on, downloads. You can do it. Any questions on this legal stuff? Go ahead.
The website doesn't have a robots.txt. Does that mean they're cool with you doing whatever?
If a site does not have a robots.txt file, it means they have not used that to revoke any implied consent. So the only place they might have done that is in the terms of use. So if their terms of use doesn't exclude it, and there's no robots.txt file, they have implied consent to your contact by being connected to them. You're okay to go crazy. Don't go too crazy. On Excel, you can open 4 processors. 100%. All right. So let's suppose you're there on your first day of your internship. You're with some American Family Insurance or farmer, some kind of insurance company. And they've got some new program that they're going to push to trucking companies, to common carriers. And so they say, listen, here's a list of 1,000 common carriers that we need to market to. And so here's the name, here's the location that they're in, here in Alberta. They're a carrier, they've got 6 trucks, and here's your U.S. Department of Transportation registration number. You've got to get a telephone number. Good news, there's only 1,000 of them. How are you going to do it? Well, you'll probably come here and here's the name of the company. You can go to Google. So we can find Duke Brothers Trucking Ltd. There's Duke Brothers in Canada. Looks like the right one. You got an address over here. You got a phone number. It looks pretty good. So hey, maybe not so bad. You can just go to Google. You might try to do this at Google. What's the problem with using Google? There are 2 fundamental problems. First problem is, well, this one came up, but it's kind of no telling what we're really going to get here. And we might end up having to look at this, and I mean, if we can automate this process, but we're still probably going to have to look and go, is that really the right one, and so forth. Second one is, no one is faster than Google to look at what you're doing and go, that's automated interaction, stop. They'll cut you off in 15, 20 requests. I don't know how to do it. They're really good at it. And so that probably isn't going to work real well for a couple of reasons. So what else might you do?
Yellow Pages.
You go to Yellow Pages, maybe some other place. But look at this. Here's Safer Web Company snapshot of Duke Brothers Trucking. This is a government site. Department of Transportation government. What is this? Oh, look at this. You can plug in a U.S. Department number. Is that their number? That's their number. And here we have a phone number, a mailing address. It's the Duke Brothers. This is like some official register at some government agency. I like this a lot better. I've got their U.S. Department of Transportation number. If I could just drop that here into this site, I've got the data right here. This looks great. Trouble with this one is it's slow. I've played with this one a couple times, and it's painfully slow. Fortunately, if we look right over here, I've given you another one that's also a government site that's quite a bit faster. So we'll take this one, we'll drop it in, and we'll see this is a U.S. Department of, it has a U.S. .number search. So we can come here, we can drop in the number for Duke Brothers. Oh, it's not Duke Brothers, is it Duke Brothers? Yeah, it's Duke Brothers. I always think of the Dukes of Hazzard, which was a television show that my parents didn't let us watch when I was a kid, and somehow found a way to watch it again. I say the Dukes of Hazzard. How many of you know exactly what I'm talking about? Oh.
My dad's talked about him.
What's that?
My dad's talked about him.
Your dad, yeah, your dad might have known it. Oh, we don't know. Our parents, of course. All right, so I follow that, and sure enough, it takes me to another page. Here's the results of the search. Here's the Duke Brothers. That looks great. In fact, I'm pretty comfortable that if I drop in a U.S. Department of Transportation number, it is going to give me one company back. That's nice. Now, as I look at the URL that this brought me to, do you see anything about this that you like? Anything interesting in this URL? We'll go ahead and bring up the notepad so you can see a little bit. I would think I have a really, really slow computer. I guess I do. It's not supposed to be slow. What do you think? There's something really interesting.
Has the dot number in it?
The dot number is right there, part of the search. And in fact, if I look at this other, so there's a dot number, this is MC. I think that's the motor carrier number. That's blank because I didn't put it in. And then this is just submit equal search. That's just that says the button that I clicked on. So I bet I don't even need those. And so I can just search as one. I don't know what the rest of this is, but I can just probably format these. I'll be in pretty good shape. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and as a little bit of review from Monday, let's go through that process again. So we're going to get it set up to where we can pull this information. Alt F11. I am, let's see, trucks, insert a module. Sub, get all numbers. I'll make another one, get one number. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and import my, what do we call them? IE tools. a couple things to do to get set up. So strictly speaking, you don't have to import the IE tools that we downloaded on Monday. They're available on Learning Suite on Monday's day if you want to download them again. But here in the Visual Basic Editor, I'll choose File, Import, and I'll go find ietools.bas. So that's the first thing. I want to have these tools available, make my life a little bit easier. And then what's the other thing I have to be sure that I do? Remember what it is? Add a reference. Add a reference to MS Internet Controls. Tools, references, references. I'll do that right now. Tools, references. We'll find Microsoft Internet Controls. There's so much to choose from. Make sure you check the box, not just highlight it. All right. Well, let's get started.
What's the internet one you talk about?
What's that?
The internet one, what is that?
It's Microsoft Internet Controls. A whole bunch of Microsoft stuff. You gotta sift through it. Truth is, I've only ever used about 4 of them. There's a lot more out there. All right, dim IE as what? Internet Explorer. Now remember, we could set it as a new Internet Explorer, but if we do that every time we run this, is going to open up a new instance of Internet Explorer. What do I want to do? If IE, or if attach IE, remember attach is one of those that's defined over here in mod IE tools. If attach IE, oops, function IE, I'm sending the Internet Explorer object, I'm sending the object variable, say if you can bind this variable onto Internet Explorer, actually if you can't, if you do not bind to it, then set IE equal to a new Internet Explorer. So now we'll be hooked up to an Internet Explorer. Either we bound on one that was already open, or we've opened up a new one. Let's go ahead and make it visible. IE.visible equals true. And now I think we're ready to send the real work. Well, I guess we have time to do it. Let's go ahead and make a loop. We'll loop through all of our stuff here on sheet 1. So we're going to be probably just looping through column E. For a couple more variables, dim R as an integer, or as a long integer. R equals 2. Do until sheet 1 dot cells, row number R, column number, what was it, E? Yeah, it has a department number in it. Column number E, value is equal to a 0-line string. Put do events in here. I'm going to increment R. All right, so now we've got kind of a control structure here. Just for kicks, I'm going to make sure I've got this going on so far. I'm going to debug.print. All of those numbers. This is just to make sure that I've got my loop set up right. And since I've opened up the Internet Explorer here, I guess I'll leave it open. That's fine. I was going to say let's close it down so we don't keep making them, but it'll reattach onto the first one. I'll run this, and it should just dim R as, let's see, that looks perfect to me. Dim R as a long integer. What's the end of do loop called?
Loop.
Take a minute to open that, and then it has spooled off all 1,000 of those, 900 and some odd. So we're good. So I've got this code working to just go through all those numbers. Now, What I want to do is send that number down here to get one number. So let's get this set up. We're going to take a US dot number as a string. string. Now I've set up my Internet Explorer out here. That's because if I set it up down here, every time I say go give me the next number, it's going to have to create the Internet Explorer object, bind it onto the page. More than I want to do. So instead, I'm going to send the reference down here. So I'll capture it down here, i.e. as an Internet Explorer object. And why don't I also pass down the row that I'm working on? Row as a long integer. I'm going to pass three things down here. I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to give you an Internet Explorer object that's already open, so it'll just be faster. I don't have to worry about opening or closing. I'm going to tell you the US dot number that we're working on, and then the row to write the data back to. So now I'm ready to call, get one number. The US department number is over here in column E. It's the one I just printed out, so that's nice. So you can just send that down there. The IE object is IE, and the row is R. So I'm sending down these three pieces of information. They'll be available to me down here in my get one number. That is delightful. So now I'm ready to open the page. IE.navigate to. URL. Forgot the URL. Navigate to this URL. It doesn't quite fit. Let's see if I can get it to show this one. There we go. So I'm just going to go to HTTPS, AIFMT, US dot number. I don't want that hard coded, so I'll get that out, and I will concatenate on to that US dot. So that's being passed down here. All right, so I'll navigate to that page. What do I have to do next? I don't have a whole lot of choice about what should go next. What is it? This statement. In this statement, VBA just says, Internet Explorer, go to this page. How long is it going to take?
We don't know.
I don't know, a second. But as soon as VBA has sent that instruction, it's ready to move on. I don't want it to move on. I want it to wait until the page is loaded. So how do I tell it to wait? Wait for. IE. Again, wait for is defined inside of mod IE tools. So I pass it the Internet Explorer object to wait on. And that's just going to say, all right, you sit around for a little while and watch until that Internet Explorer is done loading. I should have the page. Make it visible? Yeah, I should be able to run it. Now at this point, I'll go ahead and put stop in here. And I should be able to get the Duke brothers showing up on my Internet Explorer. Sometimes I'm at the wrong page. How do I get here? That is not the page I wanted to be on.
So you put in US dot.
Oh, whoops. R is 1. I need to start where? Row 2. Yeah, that's my mistake. I'll stop that and start again. And it's still different. What do we got going on? That looks pretty good. Have a little debugging here, folks. Let me take a look. Dim URL as a string. URL equals something. So I'm putting my URL into a variable first just so I can inspect it. And I see why this isn't doing what I think it should be doing. Maybe some of that stuff I deleted, I'm not allowed to delete. Here. It's going right where I want it to go. Even not looking at the right page. I have more than one. I have more than one. I'm closing all of these. Open up my task manager. Just make sure I don't have Internet Explorer open that's hidden. Oh, looks like I still have something over here. Yeah, there's one that's on the right page. So that might have been the one it was going to. So let me close that. All right, looks like I got all my Internet Explorers closed. Let's try it again. Anyone else actually getting to that page? Okay, you're getting there. Well, there's hope. There's hope for me. Oh, good. So here's the do. So now, let's just remember kind of what it takes to find that link and click on that link. All right. So I'll declare another variable here, tag number, as an integer, or as a long integer. Tag no equals get tag number. Again, defined in what's it called? mod.eTools. Get tag number. Oh, sorry, get tag number in UNDER. All right, first one is an Internet Explorer to look at. That's IE. Second one is a tag name. What kind of tag is this? Any thoughts? Yeah, it's an anchor tag. It's a bit strange. We think of it as a link, but it's actually called, in HTML lingo, it's called an anchor. So let me do inspect element. Let's take a look at it. Hopefully you'll find that element. Come on, Internet Explorer, you can do it. Here it is, yeah. So it's an anchor. Now, do we think this is the last time we did this, it was like an H3, a level 3 heading we were looking for, and the only thing the web page used, level 3 heading, was the data that we were after. Do you think this is the only anchor on the page? No, there's a bunch of them. So now we got to tell it that it's an anchor tag. All right, so that's the next thing here. So A is the tag name. The next argument here is identifying text. So what's unique about this tag, this anchor tag? What do you think is going to be unique about this one? Yeah, go ahead.
The inner HTML of that tag is the name of the tracking company that we're looking for, which we have in our database.
So we could actually just see, we could actually look to see if that's look for the inner HTML. That would work. A little more work than I want to do. Plus, we only got 16 minutes. There's an easier thing that we can just look at this tag and go, that's the right tag. Any other thoughts? So yeah, we could look for the number. It wouldn't be so hard because we already have that number with us. It wouldn't be bad. I'm going to do it this way. The search results, search details.asp. That's the search details. That's the only one, that's the only of these links that's actually search details. So let's go ahead and use that. I'm going to copy it. Bring it over here. So search details.asp. So that's the identifying text. And then I don't need to start after any particular tag number. It can start from the beginning as it's looking for this. So that should be okay. Once I've got that tag number, I should be able to say ie.document. Not all, that tag number. .click. Click on that tag. I'm going to go ahead and just run these one at a time so I can inspect that tag number. Yeah, it gave me a tag number 178. Remember, the get tag number returns a -1 if it fails. So found a good tag number. I'm going to go ahead and try to click on that. Let me go ahead and come halfway over here. All right, so I'm going to execute the click, and we should see it start to navigate. Yeah, looks like it's navigating. Looks like it got there. But again, I got to this stop before the page was loaded. What does that mean I need in here? Wait for IE after I hit that click. Anytime I do something that changes what document's being shown in the browser, I'm going to tell it to wait till that document gets there. All right, so now at this point, I've got the data that I'm after. Is that a question?
Oh, no.
So we could do the same thing. You know, we could say, all right, we've got to somehow track down this particular tag where the telephone number is, and kind of the same thing, the tag number, get tag number, refer to the tag, and so forth. Or we can use another way that I'm going to show you. When we're working with these as individual tags, I've got a hierarchical structure of this HTML page. It's got this part, and this part, and this part, and this part. Sometimes, not especially for this particular example, but sometimes it is dramatically easier to work with this as if it's just one big text file. Don't give me this whole structure of different individual objects. Just let me treat it like text. Remember when we were working with the Brazilian weather data, parsing that text file. That was just a text file. HTML files have a lot more structure to them. They have tags around them that's going to help us get the data we're after. And so you're going to find out that parsing HTML is a lot easier than just parsing structured text. So let's go ahead and see how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and stop my code here because we're going to have to import a new object. So this is the CLS, what is it called? Parser.cls file, also on Learning Suite, that you can download. So I'm going to choose File, Import File. And I am going to find, I think I put it in Documents. I'm going to find that parser.cls. I put it in the database project. That's not really a great place for it. But that's okay. Once it imports it, I don't need to have the source file in there. So parser.cls. I import that just the same way as I imported the other mod IE tools. Okay, but it doesn't show up here with my mod IE tools. That's because this is a class module. We've talked about an object class kind of at the beginning of the semester. We haven't done much with it. What's an object class? You might have memorized this for the midterm. You might not. An object class is the definition of an object. And so this parser file here, it's a module, and it's all written in VBA. It's just the definition of an object. It has some things we haven't seen so far, so we've defined properties. We have methods defined here as well, but they're just defined as a function or a sub-procedure. So there's not a whole lot here that you wouldn't be somewhat familiar with if you looked at it. It's just a series of functions and variables that I put together to help parse through text files, specifically HTML files. There's some tools that are designed to work with HTML. Okay, so we now have that object that we can create. Let's create a reference to it. Dim P as a new parser. And now that I've gotten the page that I'm trying to get the data off of here, I want to take that information and dump it into my parser file. Here's how I do it. I'm going to say p.text. So text, that's just it's the variable inside the object that allows me to hold the text that I'm working on. That's going to equal ie.document .body .outer HTML. The information I need is in the body. If it was in the header, I could pull the head tag, or I could bring in the whole HTML document. Bringing the whole HTML document is a little bit more work because I have to do some work to make sure I found the right tag. But the body tag always holds the body of the document, so if what I'm after is in the body, that's kind of the easiest way to get there. Now, the way the parser works is it says, I've got this whole big thing of text. I want to have some way to think of how far I've worked through the text so far. So almost as if I'm just searching here in, let me take the source. I'll look at it here in Chrome because it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so let's just suppose I'm trying to find the phone number. I come in here and do Control F, and I look for phone number. It's just phone. Oh, telephone. So I just did a search for this, and in a sense now, over here in this text file, I'm now right here is where I'm actively thinking about this file. That same notion exists inside the parser. It's called the position. And so I want to start off by saying, hey, let's think about this at the very top. So P, my parser.position equals 1. Take me back to the very first part of the file. And then I'm going to say I want to move to something in the text. Like doing a find. Here it is, p.move to. And just tell it the text that I'm looking for. I kind of like looking for this right here. Telephone with a TD tag after it. That's a table data tag. That's the cell in a table. So I'm going to move to that telephone. And that should then advance my position to a different location. Let's just go ahead and see that happen. I'm going to put a breakpoint on my move to, and I'm going to run my code up to this point. All right, so if I look at my position right now, p.position equals 1. Well, I just told it to be at the first position. But now I'm going to execute this line that is going to try to move that position, advance that position until it finds this text. And now I'm going to look at p.position again, and it's moved it up to 12,984 characters in. That's how far it is before it finds telephone./td. Question?
So like peer position is like when you click the inspect here, is that really the first line of the web page, right?
It's not the first line, it's the first character of the web page.
Oh.
Position 1 is right here.
Oh.
That's position 1.
Okay, so and then when it finds the we go back to the so when you find that telephone, it will stop when at the T, right? The P position will be the position of the T, right?
Let's just go ahead and do it over here in Chrome. So it's like coming here and saying I want to find this, and now it is put the current position indicator right at the end of this. It's not at the beginning, it's at the end, which allows you to do, if you have to look for the same thing like 4 times, I want to find here, then I want to find, move to the next TD and the next TD, you can do that without having to change what the position is. You can just find the next one. If it stopped at the beginning, it would keep finding the same occurrence. So it puts it at the end. But that's a decision I had to make about when I designed it, how it would go. All right, so I'm trying to get to the phone number here. I think that's what I want to do. I want to move to the next TD. So if I say move to TD, again, it's not going to move to this one up here somewhere, wherever it is. It's going to move from where the position is to find the next one. And then I'm going to move to the next TD, and then I'm going to move to a closing bracket, and that should put me right in the right place to pull that number in. Is there a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if should the position be the same for all of us?
Oh, so the position be the same for all of you, and the answer is it should be pretty close. The thing that would make it different, 2 things. If you're looking at something besides Duke Brothers, so if you're not on the same line, it would be different. And I don't think there's any ads here. Ads could make it be very different, but I don't think there's any ads here. What number are you getting?
13,062.
That's probably okay.
That's close enough.
I think so. Okay, so from that location, I'm moving to the next one. So I'm going to move to the opening tag. I'll do that twice. And then I'm going to move to the closing tag. So I should take my telephone, move to the next TD, and then the closing tag, which should be move to this TD, move to this TD, move to that, and now I'm right ready to pick up my phone number. So let me go ahead and get a variable to pick up that phone number. I do the phone number and the fax number. Dim phone as a string, dim fax as a string. So phone and fax are string variable. I've moved down to this location. Now I'm going to get the text. P.getText. It's a function, so I'll put the arguments in parentheses. Then I got to tell it what I'm getting the text to. So having just done the example, I know they're always dropping in this non-breaking space. It's HTML for a space that can't collapse at the end of a phone number, even if the phone number is not there. It's kind of nice. So I'm going to get the text up until that. So my current position indicator is right here. I'm just going to bring back everything up until a non-breaking space. And so that's going to be my get text. Oh, I need, it's sending a value back, so phone equals. So I'm going to bring myself right back up to my, where I set the position equal to 1. And I'll run through all these steps again, and it should put the phone number right there into my phone variable. There we've got the phone number. If I move into the fax number, the structure of the page is just the same. It's right down here. But instead of telephone, it's fax, but then the rest of the structure is the same. Move to the TV, move to the TV, move there, go to the non-breaking space. So I'm going to do this, and not from position equal 1, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to copy this block down, do it again. Instead of moving to telephone, I'm going to move to fax. And I'll assign that into fax. I should be able to run that block again. Phone, comma, fax. I should have both of those elements here. And then all I need to do is write them to the worksheet. So that's going to be sheet 1, cells, row number, row, column number, column F and G, value equals phone, and fax. That should put those two out. There's my phone and my fax in there. I think I'm ready to let this thing run. I'll just hit F5, should run past that, stop, get to the next page. And we'll see if we've got the next one. Oh, yeah, it took a minute, but here it came in. So there's the next one. We're off and running. So I could send that to run, and it looks like it would pull those all in. It wouldn't get them all before class ends, so we only have about 30 seconds to go, but we're off and running. And that's the great thing. Sometimes these pages take a little while to respond. Let it run overnight. We'll get a ham sandwich. Come back when it's done. Questions? Ooh, one more thing that I wanted to show you. We don't have time to actually see the full example, but move to is actually a Boolean function. If you ask it to, it will return true or false if it's able to find what it's looking for, which means, let me do it really quick. I'm going to hold you over just a little bit, but it won't take long. I'm going to do this. Let me just go ahead and print off to my immediate window like the links for all of the anchor tags. So I'm going to do, set position back to 1, p.position equals 1. I'm going to do while p.move to the anchor tag. As long as it can move to that, I want to keep doing this. Remember that this is going to actually advance the position indicator, but it's going to return true or false. So as long as it returns true, it means it found it. We're going to stay in the loop. And what are we going to do here? We're going to p.move to href. That's how we get the link. Href equals with a quote, and then we'll do a debug.print. Of p.getText up until the ending quote. So 4 quotes in a row, that's 2 quotes inside of quotes. That's looking for a quote. Probably worth just looking at one of those. So we're finding the A, we're moving to href quote, and then we're getting everything until the next quote. So what this should do is it should just spool off all the links on this page. It's really not a part of this example, a meaningful part of this example, but I want you to see how you can use move to control a loop that says, I want to find every element that matches that on the page, and then do something with it. So here it's found all the links on that page. and then it's displayed. So that's kind of a powerful thing to be able to say, I've got a bunch of links here, follow all of those, and then do something with each one. Okay, questions?
How you didn't see it? Can you go up with it?
How do we dim P? Dim P as a new parser. For that to work, we have to import the parser class. So that's got to be good. All right, let's call that good. If you have any questions, I'll be here for a couple of minutes. Database project due tonight, and I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend, class dismissed.